Yeah, I think it's kind of classy.
Yeah, I mean, it says have a nice relaxing end to your Sunday, which is going to be anything but relaxed considering what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I might get a little bit steamy here.
It's not steamy in a good way either. More
No,
like
yeah, no,
steam
nothing.
coming out of your ears because of
Yeah.
anger. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
Hello, hello.
Big Al, I guess, was first. Let's say hi. Hello, Geezers.
Howdy, howdy.
Hope we have a great show tonight and everyone has a fun evening.
Yep,
Well, it
yep.
has to be funner than the last few days I've been having. But anyway.
Right.
I can't complain, though. Hurricane Helene messed up a lot of states this time around. I'm okay, in case anybody's wondering. We made it. Me and my family made it out fine.
Good.
But yeah, not so pleasant for other people. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Yeah, it's not good. FKHC 2005. Welcome, otherwise known as Tim. Welcome.
Yes.
Cyberpunk Dystopia. Have I seen you before? Welcome to the stream. Let's see here.
Yeah, we've got a great bunch of new people here, pulled in by the Charlotte Night Star group.
Oh, excellent.
That have been hanging out with us on the Twin Peaks streams, and I was on with them earlier today for the second half of Beetlejuice.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
JPRPH1, welcome. Curtis Selby, welcome. Glad everyone is here, I hope. Okay, yeah. Welcome, Geek Flag. With Nate Knows, 1973. Welcome, Connie Cleary. Welcome, Deleted Scenes, Unscripted Raid. Yeah, you were getting a little salty earlier.
Yeah. I don't think I mean, I was joking when I said uncensored, but you dropped more F-bombs than I think you have in any other single stream.
DJ Ronnie G. Here, because I heard there'd be go-go dancers. Well, that's one of my zombie picks for Friday. Will be Planet Terror. It's a great line in Planet Terror when he's yelling at Rose McGowan in it, and he says, "It's go-go, not cry."
Yeah,
because I guess she cries when she does her dancing. Leia plus size, welcome. But yeah, we're gonna be doing some. That'll be last call Friday night. This will be Agent Boomer and Troy Pacelli's top 10 zombie movies picks.
The zombie stream, yes.
And I will give. It just so happened I thought they were going to be intermixed, but turns out I'm just going to be going in year order. So I'll probably be doing mine first, then Troy.
Yeah,
it just worked out that way.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll see whose list is better. Actually, it's all one list. There's no better. It's all good, right?
I think so.
Are zombie movies like pizza? There's not really bad zombie movies, right?
See, yeah. I think the saying about pizza is you'd have to say zombies are like pizza. You know, even when they're not good, they're not bad.
Good evening, you Geeky Geezers. Well, thank you. That'll be next year's stream, the top 10 worst zombie movies.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I got to think on that, though. All right, so here we are. I guess it's time to just get down to it. We have a lot of articles to get through, but first we want to talk about the good old days. And before I can talk about the good old days,
what was good about these good old days that you're talking about?
What was good about the good old days? Did I add it to the stage? I did not. What was good about the good old days was Clash of the Titans.
Yep.
Come on.
I liked Clash of the Titans. I saw it in the theaters.
I was not lucky enough to see it in the theater, but it was a staple of my childhood on VHS. I guess it was on cable a bit too.
Yeah.
Experience the fantastic Clash of the Titans. I guess that's the original poster for it, huh? They're going for a little bit of a Star Wars vibe there.
Probably, yeah. I kind of got that, and that's kind of the spirit I went to it into. This was one of the last films to really incorporate the Ray Harryhausen special effects.
Yeah, I think it was his last big movie. Yeah,
but this also kind of, for me, ushered in my love of the Greek mythology, which I next experienced with the movie Xanadu, which we've talked about on my channel previously.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you're in fact, let's be honest with you. For me and a lot of other young kids, this was our first exposure to Greek mythology. Was this movie?
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
so we have our hero on the cover, Perseus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, we have the gods. Who played Zeus? Sir Laurence Olivier.
Yeah.
And here are all the other gods. There's Athena. I think who was Athena played by? Oh, what's her name? Most beautiful in the world. Help me
You know
out.
what? I should have had this pulled up in my
I hate it when this happens.
IMDb.
Ursula Andress.
Oh yes, Ursula
Yes.
Andress.
But we have Maggie Smith.
No, Ursula Andress was Aphrodite.
Didn't I say that? What did I say?
I thought you said Athena.
Oh, never mind. Yes, no, you're right. Okay, and who does Maggie Smith play here?
Oh, was she Hera?
No.
No, Thetis.
Okay. But yeah, she gets angry at Zeus because Zeus curses her son, remember?
Right.
Because he killed all but the last of the Pegasuses.
Yep.
But Maggie Smith, yeah, we're talking about Maggie Smith because unfortunately we have some unfortunate news about her tonight. But I love Clash. I watched it again and again and again on cable. So did I. I think you and I were probably watching at the same time. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful movie.
Very much felt like they kind of fell short in the marketing department with the toys.
Yeah.
They could have done a much better job with that.
Were there toys for this? Because I seem to recall there might have been.
There were some 3 3/4 inch action.
I think I had a Perseus toy. Yes.
There was a Calibos. I remember that.
Yeah.
They did the Kraken. A little large size. Not quite at the size you'd want. They should have done a Cyclops. They really should have. I don't think they did.
Was there a Cyclops in this?
I thought there was. Maybe I'm confusing it with another Ray film.
I think it was a Sinbad, or was that the Jason the Argonauts? Maybe.
Could be.
But here we go.
That kind of blends together with me.
Harry Hamlin as Perseus.
Yep.
And
one thing that I really loved was, on your previous shot with Maggie, there was the in the background you had the little the clay sculptures of the humans. And I love this idea of them taking the humans, putting them into, the arena or into
like action figures,
as if, like they were playing a Dungeons and Dragons game with, they were the gods controlling fate, right?
Oh, I remember Theseus cursed the queen for comparing Andromeda's beauty to her and said that she had to be sacrificed. Yes. Well, she said she was more beautiful than the Andromeda in her own temple. Right. And that gave her an excuse, actually, because she wanted to get revenge because she was angry because her son was originally engaged to Andromeda.
Right.
But he became hideous by a curse by Zeus. So she was looking for the opportunity to give her an excuse to do some damage.
When you really dig into the myths, they played fast and loose with some of them,
sure.
But at the same time, some of it was really good too.
But we have Perseus here. We have Burgess Meredith. I forgot his character's name, but he was a theater man, right?
Yes.
He knew all the great stories. He comes out wearing one of those ancient Greek theater masks, right?
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah, I did study. I took a history of theater course, and we read some of the Greek plays. They were rather interesting. How it's almost like how theater evolved over time. Like I think originally there was only one actor on stage, and then there would be multiples, and then there was a chorus. It was like it happened slowly over time. Yeah, but here we go. His little
Clockwork Owl. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that, and I'm thinking this must be the R2-D2 character in this.
Kind of.
And maybe it is, but I don't. But it works here. I
loved it. Yes. I loved it
because he was wound up, and I like the idea too. And I guess was this also sent by the gods? I think to help him.
I think so. Yeah. Because he also received the aegis and the sword, and I don't remember what other
Bubo,
right?
But I remember this movie. This movie had some terrifying monsters in it.
Yep.
There's his adversary,
Calabac, right?
Calabac,
wasn't that his name, Calabac?
I think so. It sounds like it. Or
Flappy's uncle. Yes, exactly.
Hold on, give me a moment. Should have brought up the wiki for this. But anyway, how old were you? Saw this in the theater, though. Was it a big deal seeing it on the big screen?
I mean, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was kind of a spectacle. Yeah, I had to have been 10 years old when this came out.
I think that's the right age for this movie.
Yeah.
You got to see a little bit of boobage in this too.
Oh yeah, I guess you did.
Because
yeah,
back then they didn't freak out about that sort of
That
thing.
was just the thing. Like I said, back in the late 70s, early 80s, PG films did have some brief nudity, and you just thought nothing of it, you know?
Yeah. Calibus, that was his name. Yes.
Calibus, yeah.
And yeah. It was originally handsome, now made hideous. But see on HBO, interesting bit Space Frog. I think I saw it on Showtime. I guess it was one of those movies that alternated. There we have the what was it, the Princess Andromeda here, I believe, right?
Oh yeah,
played by Judy Balker, nice looking young woman. And then we have Perseus and his men, and they have to go. Basically, she gets cursed, and the Kraken. She has to be sacrificed to the Kraken.
Yep.
As you often say on your Friday streams, release the Kraken. It came from here.
Okay, well, yes. that's where that comes from. There's 3 movie clips in there, and the first one, of course, is from this film.
Interesting. And
the second being from the remake.
In ancient Greece, actors wore masks to play different characters and to check the actor's ego because the story was the most important thing. Interesting. So the actor didn't get a big head. That makes sense. Because
if they did get a big head, it was because it was a big mask.
And hubris was a big thing in ancient Greece, right?
Yes, it
so
was.
You had to check yourself on. But yeah, let me see here though. We have the 3 sisters.
Yep.
Who only have the one eye to see out of.
Yep.
Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
And they're cooking something in a pot. And I think I saw a human hand in that pot.
Well, you see a bunch of human remains in front of them too. So I mean,
so this is a dangerous, but he has to figure out how to defeat the Kraken.
Yeah.
Which I think leads him and his men that they figure out they have to go find Medusa, right?
Right.
No means known to man, but maybe woman. Remember, that's what Burgess Meredith says in this, right? So this is the Medusa in this movie.
Very well done.
Another mortal woman cursed by the gods, much like Calibus. Oh my goodness!
Another great use of stop motion. The long shots of Calibus were done this way too, but you know, those the snakes in her hair, just the unnatural, uncanny valley of stop motion does really elevate that creepy, scary element. Then you've got this lighting on her eyes, very, very reminiscent of Bela Lugosi in Dracula, right?
Like you don't ever see her completely, do you?
Right.
You see her, and this freaked me out as a kid. This is a true monster. And forget about just the fact that she can turn you to stone just by looking at you, which she can do.
Right.
She is a skilled archer. She is messing up Perseus's men when they go in there.
Yep.
And then what is it? I think he sees her reflection in the shield and then is able to use that. Because, of course, if you look at a reflection, you're not going to turn to stone, right? And then he was able to decapitate her. And then, but he still needs the head. So he puts the head in a, what do you call it?
Sack.
Into a sack. Which I believe later on Calibus sticks his knife into so the blood can come out and he can pour it on some scorpions, I believe. And curse the scorpions?
Well, no. What happened was when the bag gets pierced, some drops of blood come out and they turn into giant scorpions.
I see.
I swear this was such a great template for those of us that were starting to get into Dungeons and Dragons back then, because it really was like that. It was like, and now for the next combat encounter, and now for the next combat encounter. And why are we fighting 3 giant scorpions? Just cuz.
This almost feels like a D&D campaign in a way, this movie, right? Yeah, this is and my late brother Junior could quote this entire movie from start to finish. Great. Great special effects, practical effects, blood made the scorpions. Right. Thank you, Space Fraggle. Yeah, great practical effects in this movie. Good actors. Harry Hamlin as Perseus, the son of Zeus. because one of Zeus's few, I don't know how many sons he had, but he had a few. This was our Harryhausen film of our generation. It made me go back and watch the other ones, though. I can tell you that right now. Real big fan of the Sinbad movies. At least I still have to watch Eye of the Tiger. I've never seen that all the way through, but I've seen the first two. Seventh Voyage. They really need to put Golden Voyage and Eye of the Tiger on Blu-ray. But, yeah. But and there's the Kraken. This was, of course, the big showstopper piece, right?
Yeah, interesting take on the Kraken. Not what you would anticipate from mythology, but that's okay. Some creative license. It was good.
Yeah, I tell you that Zeus made more babies than Nick Cannon. Okay, I believe you. But Golden Fleece, yeah, that was the that would be Jason and the Argonauts, another great Harryhausen movie. I like the dancing gold actress in the gold paint. She was nice to look at.
Yeah.
Troy, as soon as I get to stream, see something uglier than the end of my first relationship. I'm telling you, man. And the thing is, this is another thing too. Medusa, she was very beautiful, right? And wasn't she cursed out of jealousy by one of the gods? I think.
Yes, it was another one of those, vanity kind of situations. Yes.
So hubris, humility, which I think are good things for us to keep. We don't. That's in short supply these days.
It sure is, especially among the actors. Maybe they should go back to wearing masks.
You know what? It's not a bad idea. Maybe that's what we should do. Start partaking in Greek theater again. See if there are any local productions. That might be an idea. Athena. Yeah, I believe Ursula Andress was Athena, right? Goddess of love. Actually, I like the one with the bird too. She was nice.
No, Aphrodite was goddess of
Aphrodite. Well, who's Athena?
Athena was goddess of wisdom.
I know nothing.
She was played by Susan Fleetwood.
Was she the one with the bird? The mechanical bird? Oh, because Zeus wanted her to give up bird to help Perseus, and she's like, I'm the owl, and I'm not doing that. So she had someone make a mechanical owl.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, and I believe Athena was, as goddess of wisdom, yeah, hers was the owl. Right.
Uh-oh. That's interesting.
What's that?
That'll do it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no.
This was done very well.
Love. She didn't have a choice in the matter. That's the even worse part about it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Was this Zeus again?
Yep. I believe it was.
Zeus.
Yeah, he was causing all kinds of problems.
All right. But that's it for Clash of the Titans. Any last words? I guess I should have I don't know. I feel like, what can we say that has been said? But I figured we would bring it up. Yeah, the Robot Owl was kind of like R2-D2, but funnily enough, I didn't mind him in this. I felt like that was them maybe taking inspiration, but it didn't feel... Well, it felt like it worked. I'll put it that way.
I like the idea of the kind of steampunk element to it, because it was like, yeah, sure, in the ancient era, something that, is steampunk would be considered something like of the gods, right? And of course, Hephaestus creating it kind of fits the mythology too. Yes. I like that idea. That worked,
Yes. I remember on one episode of Justice League, Hephaestus offered to let out Wonder Woman's suit a bit. That's what he said to her.
Why? Okay. Had Wonder Woman put on some weight or something?
That's what I was wondering. It didn't look like she did, but he made some comment. Clash of Titans and nudity. Yes, it did. Troy and I talked about that earlier. Yeah. But nothing that I felt was in bad taste.
Nope.
But now time to go on to Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
There we are. Look at that. And I did catch Mark Malikoff's comment earlier about how he had a Flappy special. Yeah.
Oh man!
You can hear me talk about Flappy on Tuesday night on Sparkwood 21.
Yeah.
Maggie Smith dies. Oscar-winning star of Harry Potter and Downton Abbey was 89. We're losing the greats. I don't know what else to say about this. Dame Maggie Smith, the British actress who starred in Harry Potter films, the widely popular Downton Abbey series, and scores of other movies, TV shows, West End and Broadway production, a career that brought 2 Oscars, 5 BAFTAs, 4 Emmys, and a Tony Award, died today. She was 89. Smith's death was confirmed by her sons Toby Stevens and Chris Larkin. In a statement shared with UK media, they said she passed away peacefully in hospital early this morning. Friday, 27th September, an intensely private person. She was with friends and family at the end. She leaves 2 sons and 5 loving grandchildren who are devastated by the loss of their extraordinary mother and grandmother. Smith was one of the finest British screen and stage stars of her generation and will be remembered for her performances in iconic films and TV shows, including Harry Potter and Downton Abbey. Her impressive body of work would include 1965's Othello opposite Laurence Olivier, Sister Act Gosford Park, and The Lady in the Van. In Downton Abbey, she was the waspish Violet Crowley, Dowager Countess of Grantham, who delivered some of the best lines in Julian Fellowes' lavish period drama about English aristocrats. Hugh Bonneville, Smith's Downton co-star, told the BBC that she was a quote-unquote true legend of the acting community. Anyone who ever shared a scene with Maggie will attest to her sharp eye, sharp wit, and formidable talent, he said. She featured as the formidable Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter movie series, heading the Gryffindor house and serving as deputy headmistress to Albus Dumbledore. The actress was honored by Queen Elizabeth II in 1990, being made a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. Greg Evans contributed to this report. Oh, that's who wrote it. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. There you go.
I have seen Laurence Olivier the Grave. He has Westminster Abbey. Interesting. Well, he starred with her in Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace, great lady. Yeah, what a weekend is a famous quote of hers from Downton Abbey. Interesting. I've not watched Downton Abbey. Members of my family were huge fans. They watched the whole thing.
We did too.
But was it good?
I liked it.
I heard PBS shortened it up. You have to watch the British version if you want to watch the right version, right?
Yeah, that could be. They did play a little fast and loose with history, but the upside to it is, of course, these are all fictional characters. In a fictional
right
dukedom. So I mean, it's set against the period, and the framing elements are spot on, but they can do whatever they want with these characters.
I know her best for Sister Act movies and the Harry Potter movies. Yes,
I'd actually forgotten that she was in the Sister Act movies.
She was, yeah. Sadly, Chris Christopherson passed. We just found out. I'm going to save him for next week. We'll talk about Chris Christopherson next time.
Yeah,
definitely. Chap relays from England, ladies. Wales chap. I beg your pardon. Are you Wales from England? Oh. Oh man, I was watching some gaming stream, podcast many years ago, and one of the co-hosts of the podcast was a guy named Marcus, who was from Wales, right? And during the stream, they were talking about the new Beatles Rock Band game.
Yeah,
and they were going, "Hey, Marcus, you're from England. What did you think of this Beatles game?" And he got mad and he said, "I'm from Wales, you son of a..." He got really. The best you could have, the worst you could have said British. You said English. He got very angry at that.
But see, the problem is a lot of Americans don't know the difference between British and English.
This is why I just say British. If you can't figure out what the person is, just say British. Of course, I wonder does that count Scotland too? Is that a catch-all?
I think so, and only Northern Ireland.
Only Northern Ireland.
Not.
Or you could just ask them
where
they're from.
Southern Ireland. Ireland? I don't know.
Or you could just ask them where they're from, but I know that's a faux pas these days, right? Terry Jones from Monty Python was from Wales. Okay, don't mess with the Welshmen. I learned that by watching Straw Dogs. If you've ever seen Straw Dogs, that's a terrifying movie.
Yeah.
That had a bad remake. Where they said it in the South instead of Wales.
I can see why they might.
They did it because they wanted. Let's be honest, it's sort of like Welsh rednecks or hillbillies in the original version, so they wanted an American equivalent. But that's what made the movie work. Is that it's an American stuck over in this strange country, Wales, where they speak English, but it's not America,
Right.
Anyway. That's a topic for another time. Will be Straw Dogs. Rest in peace, Dame Maggie Smith.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Now we're going to talk about games. I want to warn everyone, this is not a gaming stream.
It's not meant to be, but there's been
That's
a lot
where the news is late. There's no news coming out of Hollywood. We have a few things at the end. It's almost like now the tacked on stories are the movie stories, where in the old days it was the gaming stories that would be tacked on.
True.
But here we go. After Suicide Squad killed the Justice League's abysmal failure, Rocksteady rumored to be working on a new Batman game. Hear that, everybody?
Which, of course, is causing everyone to pucker because, Rocksteady. Look, if you go check out Rocksteady, yeah, exactly. If you go look at Rocksteady's webpage or their Facebook page or whatever, it's all rainbows everywhere, and that tells you all you need to know about Rocksteady.
Well, maybe they're just doing a Rainbow Bright game and we don't know about it. I'm joking. I know what they mean. Anyway, Rocksteady Studios, the developer of Suicide Squad, killed the Justice League and various Batman Arkham games, is rumored to be working on a new Batman game. Ex-user Shapashal Nick claims that Shapizel Nick claims Rocksteady is working on a new Batman game. He wrote, "Not sure which studio people's dream is, but I heard Rocksteady are back making it. Also thinking Sony are trying to money had it, laugh out loud." What does that mean? They're pumping money into this?
They're expecting to make a profit, but nobody believes they're going
to. But
Sony
doesn't need to because they have Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
They have their own game that's like the Batman Arkham. They made their own Spider-Man series. They're also making a Wolverine game. So why do they need to fund a Batman game? Unless they just want it all. I don't know. In response to another user casting doubt on being a new game, he replied, "Not sure why you doubt it, but I heard new game." This rumor comes in the wake of Rocksteady's most recent release, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, becoming a financial disaster. Warner Brothers Discovery's chief financial officer, Gunnar Wiedenfels, revealed the company looked at $200 million impairment charge on it. According to Investopia, an impairment charge is an accounting term used to describe a reduction or total loss of the recoverable value of an asset. That's bad, right?
Yes.
Wiedenfels said during the company's first quarter earnings results webcast, starting with studios, the $400 million plus year-over decline during quarter one was primarily due to the very tough comp we faced in games against the success of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter, in conjunction with the disappointing Suicide Squad release this past quarter, which we impaired, leading to a $200 million impact to EBITDA during the first quarter. We'll look on the bright side. It still did better than Concord. Anyway, not only did Warner Brothers Discovery take a $200 million impairment charge on the game, but Tom Phillips at Eurogamer reported the company laid off over half its quality assurance department, reducing it from 33 to 15 at the beginning of this month. The report also claims that the layoffs affected those outside the quality assurance as well, and have affected individuals across the board, from junior staff to individual who have been with the company for over 5 years. The number of employees allegedly told the outlet that product quality will now suffer as a result of the layoffs. These layoffs lent credence to a rumor from Vera Dark that Warner Brothers Discovery might shut down Rocksteady. She said in June, Warner Brothers is internally talking about closing Rocksteady or having their 250 employees after Suicide Squad killed the Justice League's bomb. It goes on later to say, however, a couple days after Dark's initial rumor surfaced, Jason Schreier at Bloomberg reported that Rocksteady was planning to pitch a new single-player game which would return Rocksteady to its roots. A new Batman game would seemingly be going back to Rocksteady's roots. They're probably making a Batman game. Rocksteady isn't the company they used to be. Almost all the original people who created the company and made the great games are gone. Well, what does it matter with talent? Come on. What do you need talent for?
Right, exactly.
Hire fresh faces, because that's what the game industry does.
This isn't about making the games good. I mean, so obviously, who cares?
DC games are dead. They're not in good shape. Why wasn't there ever a Green Lantern game? Think of all the stuff you could do with the ring.
Yeah.
Right? You could have made that a game mechanic.
Well, I think what the challenge there is overcoming the negativity from the rather failed film.
I guess. My channel does better than Concord. Okay, deleted scenes. Troy, I feel like the man watching the Hindenburg crash Crash can be burned, except it was made DC, and I'm enjoying the failure. I have to say, where is DC right now? Period. Just
in the toilet, pretty much.
Okay. Well, they got a Penguin series, right?
Yeah, I guess that's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Where apparently they had to change his name from Oswald Cobblepot to Ozcobb because they thought the name sounded too silly. Did you hear?
No, I hadn't heard about that, but that sounds even stupider.
Anyway, moving right along and feeling fancy free. Now we move on to Sweet Baby Inc. I don't think we've talked about them for a bit, but they've been in the news. Former Sweet Baby Inc. employee implies developers did not want to hire him after working for Kim Beller's company.
Shocking, right? You know, I mean, it's like I'm sure that the people that used to work for Enron, if they had that on their CV, probably had a hard time getting a job at another company.
A former Sweet Baby Inc. employee, Kazuma Hashimoto, revealed that developers did not want to hire him because he worked for the video game consultancy. Hashimoto was recently featured in an article written by Zachary Small in the New York Times, where he claimed that Japanese people were not upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and claimed that much of the pushback against the game was, and one of its main characters, Yasuke, was being done by Westerners using translators. He told the New York Times it was people in the West who were upset about seeing Yasuke as a samurai. Small added that Hashimoto explained that many of the negative online comments written in Japanese appeared to have been roughly translated from English. I don't know if that's true. That's what he's saying. I somehow think, wasn't the Japanese government doing investigation into this?
Yeah, because here's the problem. And you know who actually covered this really well? He hasn't, no pun intended, historically been a big gaming channel, although he might start delving into a little bit more because he does enjoy gaming himself. But the Metatron, who, like I said, mostly talks about history and language. He's a polyglot, so he really gets into, translations and mistranslations. And he said, look at all of the games in this series. This one took place at this time and it cast this nationality of a person. This one, and so like if you're gonna set a game in France during the French Revolution, maybe make the main character French, right? If you're going to cast it during the American Revolution, yeah, maybe a former European colonist, right, or whatever. If you're going to do it during the Viking era, the Nordic people, yeah, maybe make the person Norse, right?
Right.
They said it in Japan, and it's a person of color from Africa. Yeah. And you think the Japanese aren't going to be a little bit put out by that? Think it through, people. If you wanted, there is no reason you couldn't set that game at some point in history in Africa and had, an African character. That's the established trend that you're doing. That is what you call diversity, right? But when you go and you say, we're going to set this in feudal Japan, but your main character is not going to be Japanese, you are insulting everything about that culture.
Yeah. And it's not true as proven. This is why he's having a hard time finding a job. He's a proven liar. Okay, about the translated comments. Yes. Anyway, in recent Twitch stream discovered by YouTuber Smash JT, we know him, Hashimoto, provided more details with the New York Times, saying a couple months ago, the New York Times actually got in touch with me to ask about Assassin's Creed, which I was like, yeah, reception's honestly like kind of positive. And a lot of comments you'd see under videos were like straight up like Google Translate comics, which is pretty obvious. However, he then noted how annoyed the Japanese people are with certain aspects of the games. And like people are like annoyed with some of the inconsistencies and issues in Shadows, which is like the buildings and stuff being wrong or certain clothing and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
or the fact
not the problem that people had.
Or that the fact that the art team basically stole a sign from a reenactment troupe in Japan.
That one was a real black eye, and that just shows the level of research. We'll just go online and swipe something off of Google Images.
We got deadlines. Come on. Got us some
Right.
slack. Anyway.
Exactly.
And that's actually like pretty common when you're working with such a large team of artists. Sometimes they're sort of given a direction to Google.
It's common.
Things,
that doesn't make it any less illegal. But yes, you're right. Mistakes. It is common.
He elaborated, it's more like you're working with a team of people and they speak multiple different languages, and whether or not they can communicate with those is an issue. And that's just become part of game development.
Yeah.
Later in the stream, Hashimoto claimed he did not work on Assassin's Creed Shadows. He said, I can say that I did not do any consultation work on Assassin's Creed Shadows. The stuff I did with Sweet Baby, I will probably never be able to talk about just because that's the way of games development works. So yeah, it's really, really weird.
Yeah. And just to be clear, we're going to get back to these elements of Assassin's Creed in a moment. We've got another article coming up where we really want to dig into what's going on in the gaming industry and why this matters.
So I have a feeling that I'm going to get blamed for changes and decisions made on a game that I worked on that weren't even that I didn't even know about or wasn't even aware of or not even part of. He shared, because when you're a consultant, they just kind of pull you in and they ask you for suggestions, and whether or not those suggestions are actually taken is up to the director. It's up to the director. People don't understand how much power a director and producer have in a studio and whether or not they will facilitate those changes. Still, later in the stream, Hashimoto revealed that developers did not want to hire him given he was former Sweet Baby Inc. employee. He said, there are definitely jobs that I had where people have seen the fact that I worked for Sweet Baby, and it's been a year since I've worked with them, and they're just there's just a contractual bias.
I will point out that this is the same thing that I've said about, actors working in Hollywood. Well, it's not the actor we don't like, it's the writing, it's the film, it's the whatever. And it's no, I'm sorry. If you take a role, you should know what you're getting into if you're a professional. If you're a dumb kid and you've never acted before, yeah, okay, maybe. But you need to start paying attention and start being able to put on your big boy pants and say, you know what? This film, I don't agree with. This is going to be a career killer. I want nothing to do with it. And in a case like this, you need to look at the company and go, yeah, this diversity thing, this whole thing that this company is about, not a good idea. If you don't do that, I'm sorry. You're tacitly saying, yeah, I agreed with it and I supported it. And so sorry, you got to live with those consequences, pal.
Well, he goes.
I said, it's the same thing that I said about the people that worked for Enron, right? You worked for Enron and the company closed because they were doing all kinds of illegal crap and embezzling and screwing with the market. And guess what?
I had nothing to do with it.
Yep. Too bad.
Okay.
Because what are you saying when you put something on your resume? You're saying, look at my history. I worked for this company. Isn't that a good thing? No, that's not a good thing, right? That's like saying, I work for, I don't know, pick whatever top 100, company, right? You're saying it because you want the prestige of that company. Well, I'm sorry. If you put that company down, you're also putting on the stink of that company too.
So he didn't work on Assassin's Creed Shadow. Why was he running cover for it?
Yup. Good question, Nate.
All right. But anyway, he later goes on to say, people will literally be like, hey, are we going to get harassed for hiring you? And I think that really sucks, he said. See, it's the gamer's fault. That instead of we'll protect our employee, the employer or the potential person giving you the contract will be more concerned about that.
See, that's all backwards. Protecting your employee who's already working for you, that's one thing. Protecting somebody they don't know that they haven't hired yet, F you, that's not their job. Go back to Sweet Baby Inc. and get them to stand up for you.
All right, but
if they're not doing it, then why are you loyal to them?
Jesse Corrado is confused about this.
Okay, how can I help you with that, Jesse? What are
He
you
implies
confused
that
about?
developers didn't want to hire him after working for Kim Belair's company. That's what he's saying. That was the big head.
Yeah, yeah, and we're all going no poop, Dick Tracy. You worked for a company that is destroying the industry, and people look at you and go, yeah, no, I want nothing to do with that company. I want nothing to do with people that came from that company. You know what? Maybe that's a good pivot to the next article.
Yeah, because maybe Jesse's not too familiar with Sweet Baby Inc., so let's go ahead and get into the next article. Posted. Craze Sweet Baby Inc. employee says their goal is to burning the games industry to the ground. I often wonder that the people that end up hiring these firms and they're like, "Oh, that's cute," and I'm thinking, no, he's not. He's being literal when he says this.
Yeah,
he would light the match. Shout out to this is from what is it? Smash JT, right?
Smash JT, yeah.
Shout out to Kershay for the find of a 9-year-old video in that park place. The heads up. Wow. Was it eye-opening? In a beyond shocking admission during the Game Developers of Color Expo, a crazed Sweet Baby Inc. employee by the name of Cameron Wild, who identifies as non-binary, shocker, revealed a controversial and troubling agenda to burn the games industry to the ground, among other insane thoughts. The video was titled "How to Get Away with Murder, Subverting Genre Expectations." I mean, wait, what? Within the last name, so aptly titled, named Wild, I almost wondered if they call themselves this ironically, as you'll see. Wild works at Sweet Baby Inc. with the made-up job title of narrative designer, and is a
hold on a second. I want to go back to the question that came up from Jesse. So they're upset about African samurai. Now I don't know who the they is you're referring to, but the problem is exactly what I said. Every other game in the series, they set it in a country,
and they pick someone from that country to be the lead. And they pick
someone from that country.
Even in the one that took place during the American Revolution, it was a Native American.
Right.
I forgot what tribe we belong to, but that's still someone from
that's someone States. That belongs in that setting.
Yes, that makes sense in the setting. Yeah.
If you are going to bend over backwards to find somebody like Yasuke, who there is a lot of debate. And in fact, who did a great bit on this and a deep dive into the history on this was Metatron. He's like, yeah, no, he wasn't
an actual samurai.
He wasn't. And
Nobunaga liked him. I think he handled things for Nobunaga, but he was not an official samurai. But they're claiming. But there was a book that came out years ago called The Black Samurai, and I even thought it was a real thing too. I mentioned this
and it's kind of not. And in fact, when you start digging into that history, it's a little bit more offensive than what they may have intended. You don't want to necessarily bring attention to this former slave who was brought into the shogunate as a novelty, and dressed up. And no, this is not a good representation. This is not what they want. Then you go even further, and my understanding is in the game they imply that this supposedly historical figure had certain predilections that the real person may or may not have had. So now they're potentially slandering this person. Okay. Maybe you'd be better off doing what they did with every game that came before this and making it an actual fictional character that doesn't have a real historic analog that is actually from the location that you created. If you wanted an African character, you should have done Assassin's Creed, taking place in. I would have loved Assassin's Creed taking place in Zulu, Africa.
That would have been interesting.
That would have actually been a great one.
But they
didn't do that. So you don't get to play a Japanese samurai if you're Japanese.
I get the impression
everyone gets their representation except the Japanese, is what they're basically saying.
But I had another point. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I remember in the trailer for that how King Alfred of England, I think, is portrayed as like the bad guy in that game. And I'm thinking, why is he being a bad guy? Because he's trying to protect his country from invading Vikings.
Well, if you're playing if you're playing the Viking side, then yeah.
I guess I don't know. I'm not.
Remember, to the Empire, the rebellion are the bad guys, right?
I understand that. I'm sure the colonists were too, but I'm just saying I
Right.
don't know. Anyway, but let me.
Well, that's an excellent point. You know, if you were playing the colonists in the Revolution, then the British would be the bad guys, right?
Yes. Well, I hate to say this, history tends to be a little more nuanced than that, though. Doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does. But it doesn't have to be when you're playing from a very specific perspective. Right. When you're playing from that specific perspective, the other guy's the bad guy. It's just all there to it.
I just wonder if maybe, though, the team has countries they like to bash on and countries they don't, but I'm not positive.
You're probably right about that, too. I won't take that away from you.
With the last name so aptly titled, okay. But they've worked on major titles such as Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Alan Wake 2, The Crew, Motorfest, and even God of War Ragnarok. Yeah. In the presentation, Wild made bold statements about the power of storytelling, claiming that the stories told in video games serve not just as entertainment, but as a means to push debate and reshape collective values. A little more than what CEO Kim Beller seems to let on whenever she chats about what they do and how they simply just suggest stuff. One slide revealed their ultimate goal, burning the games industry to the ground. This is not a vague metaphor, while its intent is clear here, signaling an insanely radical approach to changing the industry by upending its current structure. Yeah, but we still have more Assassin's Creed to talk about.
Yeah, I would say. But what I basically want to say about this particular article is that this is the cultural vandalism we've been talking about. And they've said the quiet.
In this case, it's not even American culture, though. They're going after another countries.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. These are globalists looking to undermine any culture that they see as in any way subjugative or colonial or whatever it is, right? And the example I bring up is the Mao's Great Leap Forward, right? Where the student uprising was critical of everybody, and you were this, you were that, and you deserve to be deplatformed and lose your job and be beaten in the streets. And you see them trying to do that here in the US, as Gina pointed out, 4 or 5 years ago, right? And yeah, we see it happening. A whole group of people that are a particular color and gender and political opinions, they're trying desperately to deplatform. Luckily, we have something in this country that many other countries don't have. And that's the Bill of Rights in our Constitution. We are a constitutional republic, which puts limitations on our government, limitations that other governments don't have and haven't had historically. Because we had founding fathers that saw this potential and built this in to protect us. And we're not, a lot of people like to rip on our founding fathers. Old white guys, they say. You know how old these old white guys were? 20s, 30s, maybe 40s.
Yeah, you didn't live long back then.
Yeah. If you made it into your 50s, you were an old man back then. See, and nowadays, our 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds are emotional infants.
Yeah.
They don't have the capability of understanding the law, let alone writing it. We're even putting out lawyers from our elite Ivy League colleges that are political activists that say, F the law, I care more about what I believe the law should be than what the law actually says.
Right. This is why we should stay in our lane. Well, to be fair, Ubisoft, I want to say too, it's not really an American company. I think they're Canadian, French, Canadian, and French. They're not really. They're more Canadian European than American, though they do the Tom Clancy games.
Yeah.
But I did want to make a point though. So I've noticed
real quick. I did give Mark Melnikoff a blue wrench on my channel because I wanted him to drop. Oh, he dropped the Wikipedia article. I was looking for that movie clip that you gave me.
Okay.
That one time. But yeah, The Great Leap Forward. That's a good read for you guys.
I have noticed too, though, I think a lot of this too is coming on the heels of a gaming press, and maybe I'll do a thing on this some future stream where they have bashed two very popular games, and they were really trying to sync, and it didn't work. And one was Black Myth Wukong, which I believe is from a Chinese developer, and the other was Stellar Blade, which was from a South Korean developer. And I'm really starting to wonder if there's some kind of anti-Asian country thing going on here.
I don't think
I'm getting a bouquet here. I don't know.
I think
because they don't tell the party line, I guess, or whatever.
What you're seeing there is a correlation, right?
Yeah.
It's not really the Asian culture or the Asian creators that they have a problem with, but the Asian cultures are far more liberated, and I mean that in the traditional term liberal, right? Of showing sensuality in the female form, and
I guess so.
Not bowing to this modern puritanical leftist concept, right? Yeah, right. Cultural Revolution scene from The Last Emperor.
I remember that movie.
Mark has dropped the link. Guys, when you get a chance, check out this clip. It's just a clip from the movie, and tell me that doesn't look exactly like the kind of crap we're seeing today. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And this is why we are repeating it, because people don't know enough about this kind of stuff. But yeah, they're trying to shut down. And look, you see, and commenters, game channels that do more talking about games than we do are pointing out that anything that looks attractive, they want to destroy. Look at Star Wars Outlaws. They took the physical representation of the character, right, that they modeled it off of. They took and uglied her up. And then you got things like Concord, where they clearly are looking to make people as ugly as possible. And they're saying, well, this is representative of the average person. Well, first, the average person doesn't want to look average in their fantasies. When they play a game, they want to be buff. They want to be hot. They want to be cool.
Well,
they don't want to look like themselves. For one thing. And secondly, that is not what you should be aspiring for, to be average. I look at the fat, dumpy-looking dad bod character and go, my character and myself probably need to get to the gym.
Unless you're Homer Simpson, then it works in that game.
Whoa, look at that blubber fly.
Oh, man, we'll never see it again. They did a Simpsons game back in the 6th generation era. Yeah. That was done like Grand Theft Auto, but you played as Homer as the main character. And remember the episode where he got the moo-moo? That was one of your costumes you could unlock, and you could run around with him in the moo-moo. You could run around with him in his underwear, and when he would drive his car, like if you hit someone, he would scream out, "I have no insurance!" Like and you hit someone.
That is
funny. Like I got all the actors from the show doing the voices in the game too. It was fun, but yeah. All right. That was the one I just said.
Yeah.
Okay, that's him, by the way. Or they, I should say. Them.
Him, her, it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I am not going to pluralize a single person. It's
anyway,
him, it's her, or it's it. Pick one and live with it.
Ubisoft freaking out about Assassin's Creed Shadow as launch approaches.
Mm-hmm. And well, they should be. This is what's great about social media, is it gets the opinions out there so they know what to expect.
I don't think anyone was excited for this game.
Nope.
I think people have gradually, the Assassin's Creed series, I'm sorry, it's been losing steam.
Ubisoft cannot afford another huge loss in this
the last big one was Black Flag. I remember everybody loved Black Flag. That was one where you were a pirate. In fact, some argued, why wasn't that its own series? You could have just done a pirate series using that engine. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly right.
Ubisoft is no stranger to controversy, but their latest entry into the Assassin's Creed franchise, Assassin's Creed Shadow, is plagued with missteps at literally every turn. From its troubled announcement of Yasuki as the main protagonist to the latest scandal involving a tone-deaf figurine, Ubisoft just can't seem to get it right. The studio's decision to cancel their stream at the Tokyo Game Show, a pivotal event for promoting Shadows, is just another sign that this game is headed down a rocky road and doesn't spell great news for future sales prospects. The Tokyo Game Show no-show just days before the event. Ubisoft suddenly pulled out of their planned Tokyo Game Show stream, citing various circumstances without providing any further explanation.
Well, we all know. Let's face it, we all know.
This wild decision comes at a crucial time, just months before the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game set in Japan, of all places. Ubisoft was hoping that to build any excitement for the game in its setting's native country, this was their moment. Yeah. Instead, they withdrew, leaving fans and industry insiders wondering if they're simply trying to avoid more bad press. I'm leaning towards yes, big time. It's not hard to speculate about the cancellations related to controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft's vague explanation, translated English above, does little to quell concerns.
Yeah.
And many believe they're trying to avoid further blowback from Japanese audiences who have already voiced displeasure with the game's portrayal of their culture and history. Yatsuki and Naoi, a backlash brewing from the moment Ubisoft revealed Assassin's Creed Shadows. The game is mired in controversy. The dual protagonist, Yatsuki, based on a real historical figure, and Naoi, a fictional female shinobi, sparked immediate backlash. Why choose a fictional female to play alongside a real-life protagonist? Yeah, they never actually would pick a real-life protagonist. Like, you'd run into him.
Yeah.
Like, probably what they could have done is maybe you would run into the real-life Yasuki.
Yeah.
But apparently was not a samurai, or it was at least anyway. Right. Okay, it's clear as day that Ubisoft was going over the top with attempting to inject DEI into the game. While Assassin's Creed has always played fast and loose with historical accuracy, many, especially Japanese fans, felt this latest entry took too many liberties. A petition even circulated calling for the game's cancellation, with concerns over how Japan's culture and history are being represented. Yasuki, while technically a historical figure, has always been a polarizing character in Japanese media. Ubisoft's extremely questionable choice to pair him with a fictional female shinobi was seen as an unnecessary addition, one that felt like a modern attempt to tick diversity boxes than to faithfully depict Japan's history. Ubisoft's response didn't help matters. In July, they issued a vague apology to the Japanese community, acknowledging that some elements in our promotional materials have caused concern. That doesn't sound like an apology.
No, it's not.
It seems like they're stating what's going on. However, their statement wasn't an apology; it was a clarification. Yeah, and it only served to make things worse, as it lacked any real substance or action. Latest scandal: the one-leg Tory figurine. Yeah, this was an issue. As if things couldn't get any worse for Ubisoft, now the latest controversy comes in the form of a figurine release to promote Assassin's Creed Shadows. The figurine in question depicts a destroyed Torii gate, a symbolic structure often seen at the entrances of Shinto shrines. But this isn't just any Torii gate. According to Shin on Twitter X, the design is similar to the one-leg Torii, if I'm saying that correctly, a gate that survived the atomic bombing of Nagasaki in 1945.
Yep.
Twitter user sparked R230614 Shin sparked outrage when they tweeted Assassin's Creed Shadow figures from Ubisoft, a famous Japanese hate and criminal company. A figurine of a destroyed Torii gate has been released, which is believed to be based on the one-leg Torii gate that was destroyed in the Nagasaki atomic bombing. I have never seen a one-legged Torii other than the one destroyed by the American atomic bomb in Nagasaki. I think the point was the entire city went, but this one half gate was standing, so they preserved it.
This has great symbolic meaning, and to not understand that is just a slap in the face to their culture. This is the exact opposite of what they claim they're trying to do with their cultural diversity bull crap. Yeah. They are literally insulting the Japanese culture over and over and over.
Well, we heard it earlier. They were just taking random images off Google, right?
Yep.
And they said, oh, that's fun. I don't really need to read about what that's all about. I'll just slap it on something and sell it, not realizing that this was a solemn reminder of one of the darkest chapters.
Doing that level of non-research, if you were setting your game in, I don't know, say World War II, and you were like, oh, well, this is what the German uniforms wore, and this is what their flags were, without thinking through, what cultural meaning and symbolism that carries with it. You know, just saying.
This isn't the first time Ubisoft had found itself embroiled in controversy, Assassin's Creed Shadow shaping up to be another example of how much out of touch the company can be with cultural sensitivities. This ain't going to say it's a PR disaster in the making.
You think? Not in the making. It already is. And they're just doubling down and tripling down and making it worse and worse and worse. Digging that hole as deep as they can. Jesse makes a great point. People need to do their homework. For crying out loud, they need to do some work. Any work. These people are taking a paycheck and doing nothing. They're going through the motions, and it shows. It is very, very clear.
Can Assassin's Creed Shadows be saved?
I don't know. I think no. I'm going to say no, simply because even if they completely trash it, start over again. First off, they would have to change the characters. They would have to change the setting. They would have to change so many things. Change the marketing. They're in too far. And even if they did, the damage is already done. So changing all this stuff wouldn't actually benefit them in any way, other than to call attention to, whoops, we screwed up. We suck. There's a reason you hate us and you aren't going to buy this game. No, people aren't going to buy this game. It's going to do about as well as a wet fart in church. And I think Ubisoft is really in trouble. They are really, really in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, the entire game is a PR nightmare.
Yes, Jesse, people need to do their homework.
It's a PR nightmare that's getting worse with every decision they make. It's almost a comic tragedy.
But it's not really funny. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Japanese consultant used by Ubisoft New York Times to attack gamers over Assassin's Creed Shadow was a Sweet Baby employee.
No kidding. Shocking.
This isn't the same guy we're talking about, was it? Okay.
I am so surprised.
It was.
Yep. This is why I said we'd be coming back to this. This is what we were getting. Yeah, well, he admitted he was a Sweet Baby employee, but
here we go.
Now we're going to dig into the other side of that article.
Yeah, the so-called Japanese consultant that Ubisoft and New York Times used to attack gamers of Assassin's Creed Shadow turns out to be an employee of Sweet Baby Inc. The most recent hit piece run by the New York Times that appears to have been done in collaboration with Ubisoft, the outlet Zachary Small cited the so-called Japanese consultant and translator who claimed that criticism of the game was being done by individuals in the West using translators, and the Japanese people were not upset with how the game not only featured Yasuki as protagonist, but that he's depicted as a samurai. Yeah, we already read that. The narrative that Hashimoto, Small, and Ubisoft were trying to spin was outrageous to begin with, given that Small had written just 2 paragraphs ahead of his citation of Hashimoto that Ubisoft had attempted to assuage concerns about the game's authenticity, apologizing in a lengthy statement for promoting materials that it said had bothered some Japanese audience. Even before this, Small noted the inclusion of Izuki was the primary claim, but observers also pointed to the presence of Chinese architecture and period inappropriate flags. The controversy became so heated that a small right-wing political party in Japan formally asked the government to comment on what was considered historical inaccuracies. You realize that right-wing's a code word, right?
It is.
These
But
articles.
put that aside.
For bigots, I assume.
Forget who's asking for it. Is it not a reasonable thing to be asking? Any reasonable person would say, yeah, that's a reasonable question.
If it was just Western people, why was the Japanese political party requesting an investigation into the game, and why did Ubisoft issue a so-called apology?
Let me cut through this, and let's kind of go back and put all of these together, right? We've got a Japanese consultant working for Sweet Baby Inc.
Yes.
Who's claiming, oh, I can't get a job now because I work for Sweet Baby Inc. And we also have a representative of Sweet Baby Inc. expressly saying their goal is burning the game industry to the ground. Do you see the connections now? The whole purpose, and we've seen this clearly. The whole purpose of DEI, the whole purpose for consultancy with a company like Sweet Baby Inc. is not to make better games. It is to make you feel bad about being whatever you are. White, male, maybe an attractive female, not gay, anything that they don't like, right? A colonizer from a country that might be considered to have been a colonizer. Your great ancestor might have done something bad that they don't like.
Yes.
You are the enemy. We want to destroy everything. Go back to that clip that Mark dropped earlier and watch that. It's all happening all over again.
There's a playbook.
So all of this comes down to Ubisoft is suffering. They are going to probably go out of business in 2025. It's all because of Sweet Baby Inc. Anyone that ever worked for Sweet Baby Inc. is poison to your company. Don't hire them.
Because they want to burn it to the ground.
They've outright said that's their purpose. And if you're somebody who took a job with that company, and that's their intent, well, guess what?
Did they think they would
carry that stain with you?
But not only is Hashimoto a former employee of Sweet, but he's an active journalist whose articles are featured on Polygon, Silicon Era, Them, and multiple outlets by Gamers Group. I don't know what Them is. Mark Kern, aka Grum, shared one article Hashimoto wrote on Medium where he criticized Animal Crossing New Horizons by acknowledging Japan's history of colonial rule.
There you go.
What does that have to do with a game where you hang out with animals and you decorate your house?
Yep.
What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't matter. They take and they find ways to twist everything to get their goals and plans and preachification into everything.
Earlier this year, Hashimoto also wrote an article at Them titled "How Gay Can You Be in Dragon's Dogma 2? An Investigation." Later goes on to say the games this is interesting for Ubisoft though. For Assassin's Creed, the game's pre-orders do not look good. Craig Skistamus, aka Stuttering Craig, who owns and hosts the Side Scrollers podcast, shared that a retailer insider informed him that the game is selling less than one copy per store. He wrote, "Next, my insider told me that as of this morning, the nationwide big box chain, their nationwide big box chain, Assassin's Creed Shadow has less than 800 pre-orders." Combined with Xbox and PlayStation 5 company-wide, he added, they have over 900 stores, which is less than one pre-order per store. Yikes. And of course, there's the WWE Pro thing. It's been delayed. The game has been delayed.
Yeah.
Not coming out this year anymore.
Because they can't afford another loss in this quarter. I did drop a video.
But they're still going to be missing out on this for this quarter. They're not going to have this game to release this quarter. Their only game they have.
They're better off not taking a loss than taking a loss.
But what's going to happen now? Are they going to go back and retool it? Are they going to?
In theory, yes. In reality, it doesn't matter, and they're just going to take the loss in the following quarter. They're kicking the can down the road. They're trying to hold on to their jobs and their company as long as they can. You better believe that most people at this company are going, we gotta start putting our resumes out. Let's just hold out as long as we can. But I did drop that link because Valiant Renegade did a great video on that topic. Go check it out, give it a thumbs up, and let them know that the Geeky Geezers sent you.
All right, thank you. Assassin's Creed should have ended a long time ago. I guess. I don't know. I've not really been a huge fan of the series. Assassin's Creed is played out. That's coming from someone who used to be a big fan. I think I tapped out around. I think Black Flag was my last one I got. And I never really got into the series. There's all these things I said I'm going to go play. I know for some it was their favorite series.
The thing about games like this, they should be and can be a money-making machine. You've got a winning strategy, right? You just change the setting, change the story, maybe improve the graphics in the engine, and just recycle. Oh, this one takes place in the Revolutionary War. This one takes place in World War I. This one takes place in World War II. This one takes place in Persia. This one takes, and you'll just keep making money. You pull stuff like this where all you're doing is pissing people off, and you're screwed.
I think there was an issue with the one that took place during ancient Greece because the lead character was a female warrior, I guess. But I think she was also, I think she was supposed to be a lesbian, but that was a problem because she would still have to get pregnant because the whole idea of Assassin's Creed is it's your ancestors.
Yep.
Like you're seeing the memories of your ancestors. So they
how can I wedge
they didn't have artificial insemination back in
how can
Greece.
I wedge this idea in here and still have the story make sense? The answer is you can't.
Hey, you guys want to get together and buy Ubisoft? I don't know.
You know what? It's about to go bankrupt. So any money you would spend on it, what you're doing is buying
female Spartan. Oh, it was a female Spartan.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of them, right?
Right. Exactly.
I'm just saying. Okay.
I'm sorry. History it just wasn't.
I think we already did this one. That's right. Yeah. I'm late on that.
Yeah, we're going on to start bashing Marvel now.
Anyway. Okay. Well, I don't know about bashing. Some people might be excited for this one. Thunderbolts.
Yeah, these all look like characters I give less than 2 craps about.
Thunderbolts Argo.
Look at how all the black and dark colors.
Well, that's because
it's because they're a villain team.
One thing I always actually
look at them. They are all villains. If you think about their previous stories, they were not the heroes of those stories. They are all the villains. This is a villain team. This is once again Hollywood trying to make the bad guys the good guys.
Okay. So I yeah, it does look a little drab, doesn't it?
That's not Captain Ukraine in the background there.
I thought he was whatever. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about the trailer. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Marvel Studios has released the debut trailer for Thunderbolts, set to be the last film of Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, that's Asterix's deliberate no. Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige has yet to explain why. I don't even know where the phases begin or end at this point.
I don't either. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
We are now in the post Marvel phase, the post good stories phase.
The trailer below kicks off with Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova visiting her father, Red Guardian, David Harbour, who isn't in the best of places. It's clear neither character is particularly happy with their lot, and both are in need of some stimulation. Throughout the course of the trailer, we see this anti-hero team take up shape with Wyatt Russell as John Walker, U.S. agent, Hannah John Kamen as Ava Starr, Ghost, Olga Kurylenko as Antanya Drekyov, aka the Taskmaster, trying to wrap their heads around what's happening to them as they fight one another. Sebastian Stan reprises his role as Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, and based on the trailer, we see Bucky go up against the Thunderbolts before becoming their de facto leader.
Leia Plus Size makes a great point. She says, I have no plans to see this movie. What I hate the most about this Thunderbolts is the deconstruction of Bucky Barnes, the only character I cared about. It's probably, if you've been a fan of the Marvel movies up to this point, he's the only character you even know. Because all of those other characters, you have to have watched the Disney Plus shows to even know who these characters are. The average moviegoer is going to go, who is this low-rent, bearded Captain America-looking
US
guy
agent
in black?
Didn't you watch the Disney Plus show?
Exactly my point. No, I didn't.
In
fact, nobody did. If you look at the numbers the honest numbers for Disney, nobody watched this stuff.
They took away Bucky's storyline as the new Cap, where he found redemption. He did not stay evil. Do you think that Disney will ever get desperate enough to recut those Marvel series into feature-length movies and show them on the big screen as a feature?
They would need a lot of cutting. Although I will say this, there's a bloke out there who's taking the Star Wars series on Disney Plus and editing them down into movie length features, and they are much, much better. He did this with I think it was Ahsoka, and he did it with Obi-Wan. And I'm thinking about showing those as watch-alongs for my members.
Interesting.
Because in this way you could say the basic story. You don't have to see all the bullcrap. Yeah.
It's the abridged version, like that abridged topic you told me about.
Without having to give any money to Disney.
At one point, we see Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who is ostensibly in charge of the Thunderbolts. She's the Amanda Waller here, isn't she?
I guess, yeah.
Which came first, the Thunderbolts or the Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
Okay. But the highlight is a first look at Lewis Pullman's Bob A.K. Sentry, who appears to be bemused when the rest of the team turn up unannounced. Top Gun Maverick star Lewis Pullman replaced Stephen Yeun as Sentry. Following the Walking Dead star's departure from the role, Pullman, the son of actor Bill Pullman, delivered a memorable performance as Lieutenant Robert Bob Floyd in Top Gun Maverick, with other notable credits including 2018 neo-noir thriller Bad Times at the El Royale, the TV series Outer Range, and most recently Apple's Lessons in Chemistry opposite Marvel star Brie Larson. Gonna watch that show?
No.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. The average film goer, like I said, goes to see this movie thinking, "Oh, this is Marvel. I like Marvel." Wait a minute. Who are all these characters? Right? Because even when you went to see the older Marvel films, people knew Iron Man, they knew Captain America,
they knew Thor.
They knew Thor. They don't know who these people are. And the fans that actually do know these characters say, yeah, first, this is from an era of Marvel Comics we all hated. And secondly, these are poor representation. That is not Taskmaster. Taskmaster was a cool badass.
Yeah, he's like a favorite villain, and they kind of messed him up in the MCU. I didn't understand that. So I don't know.
But again, a villain, not a hero, or even an anti-hero. It's not an anti-hero.
They drag everyone in the Marvel. They have Aubrey Plaza on Agatha all along right now. Everyone gets sucked in, whether you want to or not. It's probably some deal you have in Hollywood. You have to do a Marvel project at some point, right?
Well, I don't know about Hollywood, but
Christian Bale was in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He was Batman, and he's playing the villain in Guardians 3. I mean, I don't. It does look very drab, doesn't it?
It really does.
One of the things I always gave credit, like when I used to watch the old Marvel movies, I think it was when I was watching Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my friend commented on the fact that even though this is sort of a darker, more serious Marvel movie, it's not afraid of its comic book roots.
Right.
It'll still have something silly like a computer that talks to Cap, in that one room. Like they'll still have the weird comic book stuff in there because they understand this is what we are.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is all about though, but
so Deleted Scenes is bringing up Lewis Pullman, and he's playing a character called the Sentinel, right? Do you know who the Sentinel is in Marvel Comics? He is effectively a pastiche, almost even parody of Superman. This is really? Marvel doing Superman.
So this is Marvel doing Homelander.
Yep.
Kevin Feige is so stupid to understand what the Thunderbolts are really about. They were villains pretending to be good guys until they liked being good guys and didn't go back to being evil. That's interesting. All I remember is I think I heard somewhere that when I think Harry Osborn, who used to be the Green Goblin, was now the Iron Patriot, right? But underneath the Iron Patriot suit, he was still wearing his Green Goblin makeup, which made me think, yeah, that's not a good guy, Tony Stark. There, you got working for you. Yeah, that's a psychopath.
Exactly right.
You haven't.
And the other thing too is the Thunderbolts were all about Thaddeus Ross, and his Ahab-like hatred of the Hulk, which we don't even talk about the Hulk anymore. That character barely even exists in the Marvel.
He was on She-Hulk.
Whatever.
Yelled at.
Whatever. Another thing that nobody watched, right? So nobody would know, right? And and they don't want to get too much into those stories because that's the corruption of the government and the deep state, and everything that they shied away from during the Civil War.
My mistake. Christian Bale was the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder. I said Guardians 3. That was a mistake. I haven't seen either of those yet.
I won't be seeing any of them.
I heard Guardians 3 wasn't bad. But if I'm being fair, Roseanne Barr, She-Hulk. No, that didn't happen. Well, no, Disney kicked her out. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, Paramount Global unveils phase 2 of layoffs.
I'm shocked. Well, not that shocked.
I'm sure it hurts them more than it hurts the people getting fired.
Yeah.
Paramount Global unveiled a second wave of staff cuts Tuesday morning, part of a larger bid by the owner of CBS, Comedy Central, and MTV to reduce costs in a fraught era of traditional media companies. In a memo to employees, Paramount co-CEOs George Cheeks sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. George Cheeks, Chris Buttface. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Sorry, Chris McCarthy, and Brian Robbins told staff that in order to set Paramount up for continued success, we're taking these actions. After today, 90% of these reductions will be complete. Your name may be Cheeks, but you're a real asshole. I'm sorry. I can't. Okay, maybe it's not that funny. I don't know. Like its contemporaries, Paramount is struggling to reap profits as more of the viewing base for its TV programs and movies migrates to streaming video and digital interaction. The dynamic makes the task of assembling the large simultaneous audience that advertisers and distributors crave significantly more complex. What?
Yeah, let me cut through all this, right? So we just had a recent merger. You know that means they're going to start reducing headcount. They're reducing headcount at the company that was losing money because when you make an acquisition, you cut the fat. And this is the second round. We talked about, was it last week or the week before, the first round? And I wouldn't be too surprised if there isn't more coming. Yeah, exactly, Troy. Game over. Game over, man. Game over.
Let's continue to read this article. Let's not cut. Let's hear what they have to say. In a memo to employees, Paramount okay, we already said that. George Cheeks. Chris. Okay, so like its contemporaries, Paramount is struggling to reap profits. Okay, Paramount said in August that it would cut 15% of its workforce. Layoffs were estimated to affect 2,000 employees coming out of its planned merger with Skydance Media. With the layoffs, the company expects to record a $300 million to $400 million restructuring charge in the third quarter. Days like today are never easy, the executive says. It's difficult to say goodbye to valued colleagues and those departing. We are incredibly grateful for your countless contributions.
Well, of course, that's the making nice. I don't need to be a jerk about it. We'll gild the lily as much as possible, but what they're really saying is we're getting rid of the freeloaders.
The company declined to specify the exact areas of its portfolio where its staff cuts are being made. Please, secret hideout. But the IBEW, a union that represents CBS employees, noted in a statement on Monday that employees affected worked as editors in media ingest and distribution and show production. What is media ingest?
No idea.
Is that a typo? What is that?
I have no idea. I would like to hope that it is, but it probably isn't.
We're disappointed that CBS was unable to find a way to retain these highly skilled professionals in their operations, said IBEW Director of Broadcasting and Telecommunications Robert Prune.
Yeah.
In a statement, IBEW members have been producing CBS broadcasts since before the invention of television, and these layoffs are hard pill to swallow. Okay.
So Mark Malnikoff, our correspondent out in the field, he was at the Chicago area Creation Con this weekend, the Star Trek convention. And he's saying that all this was being talked about this weekend by the fans at the convention. I wonder how many Star Trek shows will get affected, as well as films. Hopefully, all the shitty ones are, and they boot Kurtzman. So here's what I'm going to say to that. I'm not even sure to what extent that particular property is on their radar. They've got much bigger fish to fry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any big changes coming anytime soon. But if all the rumors are to be believed, and they're actually pretty reasonable, they've got to be thinking about this. They've got to be looking at that particular area and going, this is a resource suck. We need to get rid of it. Kurtzman and Bad Robot Hideout, whatever the hell they are, is destroying a whole segment of what we now own. We got to get rid of them. How do we get rid of them? Oh, crap. They own a big chunk of Star Trek. So either we give away Star Trek or we buy them out. Either way, they lose a lot of money. So I don't know what they do. I honestly don't. There's a poison pill built into Kurtzman's contract that is really chapping the ass of Paramount Global. So, but even if they decide to make this a priority and take the bull by the horns right now, don't expect anything to change anytime in the next year or two with Star Trek. If for no other reason, then there's already stuff in the pipeline that we're going to get. That's
Section 31 or something, or Section 82, or whatever it's called.
And anything they decide to put into effect now, we won't be seeing for 3-4 years. So consider the downward spiral for Star Trek to continue. This isn't me black pill. This isn't me being pessimistic. This is me being reasonable, logical, looking at the industry the way the industry works.
I don't mean to get off topic, and I'll stop after this, but RIP Venture Brothers. Really hope we get a continuation more of a graphic novel. Okay, it's out of my system. It's locked now. Okay. That would be Warner Brothers Discovery if that got canceled.
Yep.
You ever watch Venture Brothers?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yes. A funny show. I need to get caught up on it. I remember gut busting the first season, though. That was very funny. I'm assuming that money had to go to Velma over at...
No, Nate, you're wrong. They own a very specific piece of the Star Trek pie, and they can't extract them easily. You know, that's like we have a pizza, but somebody else owns the cheese and the sauce.
This is why they can't get the classic Trek back, because the secret hideout stuff has to be 25% different.
Yeah, that's
and theoretically, I think now they could just bring it back to you, but now they're stuck with the whole Abrams thing now, right?
Yeah.
And because of their contract, it has to be different.
It is a huge quagmire. It is not that simple. You can't just say, oh, they're a licensee. No, their contract is far beyond just being a licensee. They own a very specific flavor of Star Trek. All the Discovery stuff, even the Strange New Worlds stuff, they own all of that. So if you see a toy of Saru or Mikey Spock or one of those characters, or even the specific version, the Anson Mount version of Christopher Pike, they're action figures. Those licenses belong to Secret Hideout. That money goes to Kurtzman.
Okay. And I'd like to thank whoever the team showed me the definition of ingest. I'll look at that later.
Cool.
I'm curious. There's a link. So, All right. So that's it. Paramount's future, though, looking bright, or we're not sure yet?
I mean, simple answer, no, but this is the steps you take if you want it to get better, you know?
All right. Now, I know you were very excited when
I'm sorry. I had to laugh about this only because I like to make fun of the naming convention of this franchise. And in my thumbnail, I have Freddie Prince Jr. saying, "I know what you did the summer before, the previous summer before, the summer before, the last summer."
A little bit of spooky news before we get into
Yeah.
the Halloween season, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Freddie Prince Jr. officially joined Sony's I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel film.
Yeah, Leia Plus Size says they're still making those I Know What You Did movies. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Let's keep an open mind, Leia. Okay, Freddie Prince Jr. From The Girl in the Pool and Christmas with You.
Those are the things I know Freddie Prince from. Yes,
has officially joined Sony's I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel film, reprising the role of Ray Bronson from the original 1997 movie and its 1998 follow-up, which was called I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Deadline revealed Prince Jr. and his co-star Jennifer Love Hewitt were negotiating to return for the franchise's continuation project when it was confirmed to be in development for early 2023. Hewitt is still very much in negotiations to reprise the role of Julie James, we hear. The previous announced cast include Chase Sue Wonders, Madeline Klein, Sarah Pigeon, Tyreek Withers, Jonah Harkin, and plot details for this latest installment are unknown. Jennifer Caitlin Robinson is directing the latest installment of the horror film franchise, written by Sam Lansky and Caitlin Robinson from a draft by Leah McKendrick. Neil Moritz is producing. Sony Pictures will release the film in theaters on July 18th, 2025. The original film follows four young friends played by Prince Jr., Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Felipe, bound by a tragic accident, who are reunited when they find themselves being stalked by a hook-wielding maniac in their small seaside town.
Yeah. I am not making fun of this because, I didn't like the series or anything like that. I just felt the naming convention for this is kind of bad. I will also kind of bring up these actors that are coming back all these years later for these franchise films. Not really the best look, in my opinion.
What the heck?
It's like, what else are they doing?
Jennifer Love Hewitt was on Ghost Whisperer. Remember that show?
I like that show. I liked it a lot.
Talk to the ghosts, and she would help the ghosts out. And I don't know what she's been on since then, but I know she was.
She was in a show where she played a massage therapist. Kind of the naughty kind.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but it was on. It was like PG-13, so not that great.
It's a pretty good 90s slasher.
You didn't get to see Jennifer Love's huge assets.
That's funny because that was the big selling point, especially in the sequel to I Know You Just That Summer.
Right?
They had the scene with her in the rain. I remember that yelling. It's a pretty good 90s slasher flick. Yeah, I remember it. I remember the villain reminded me of an evil version of the Gordon's Fisherman. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong.
Does it's those seaside towns.
And then Troy is like, "We need the title." I don't remember what the show was called. It was a TV show. I think it was on cable.
Jennifer Love Lord is currently on 911. Okay, she's on the show. Good for her.
It was called The Client List, is what it was called.
Oh,
The Client List. What was that on? Was that on? Was that an Amazon series or something? I don't really remember.
Freddie and Sarah took all this time to raise a family. Well, what's more important, your family or churning out?
Yeah, I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, maybe I don't go.
What's
back.
up with you, Jennifer Love Hewitt? What are you doing here? You're taking your husband's name. I don't know what that's about. Okay, no, I'm sorry. He reminded me more of the Long John Silver's fisherman from the ads. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, it was all right, But
hey, welcome, Mikey Suze 4. Good to see you.
I'm just thinking though, Freddie Prince Jr. officially joined, so it's like the '90s, or maybe we'll get '90s nostalgia back, huh?
Have we seen anything that they've done that's nostalgic that we've actually liked? I mean, maybe besides Ghostbusters.
Stranger Things, people like that, right?
Well, yeah, but that wasn't the revivification of
an old franchise.
Franchise. That's just an homage to.
But what's they have to really work with? I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, right? So maybe it'll be. Is it the son of the Gordon's fisherman? I mean, I don't. Okay, moving right along. I guess no one's. I'm hearing crickets here. Okay, Planet of the Apes.
Still haven't seen the last movie, but I heard it did pretty good. So,
yes. You a fan of the Apes franchise? Didn't we do a good old days on Planet of the Apes?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we talked about the cartoon series. Remember that?
We did, and you got that for me for Christmas or my birthday. I forget.
They did a cartoon version with astronauts landing on Earth, and it's the future, right? And it's the apes taking over. It was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right?
Yeah.
A new report.
And I was going to say that this new batch of Apes films is kind of rebooted, kind of I don't know. They've gone back and done prequels, but those prequels have kind of rewritten a little bit of the history, but not in a bad way. They've done a pretty good job. And what they're doing is they seem to be leading up to the original story. And so a lot of fans think they're gonna go there. And this could be really, really good. Or it could be really bad. But I'm gonna lean on the side of really good because they've done pretty well so far.
A new report on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes box office performance is reassuring news amidst the previously uncertain future of the Planet of the Apes franchise set many generations after Caesar's death. In the Planet of the Apes timeline, Kingdom introduced an all-new set of characters. Although the film dealt with the legacy of Caesar, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes took place in a very different world from what we had followed in the previous three films. Kingdom was expected to be the rise of a new trilogy, but sequels are yet to be confirmed. Disney took an interesting approach with Planet of the Apes following the 20th Century acquisition, opting for a movie set in the same continuity as the previous three entries rather than a reboot or remake of the 1968 classic. Kingdom teased that a new confrontation between humans and apes could start at any moment now that May had completed her mission. I assume that's a character from the new movie. The film received solid reviews and set up an exciting future for the franchise, whose sequels appear to be inevitable following the THR's recent report on the King of the Planet of the Apes box office. King of the Planet of the Apes made nearly $400 million at the box office on a $160 million budget, based on a more traditional 2.5 times rule that is often used to estimate how much a movie needs to make to turn a profit. King of the Planet of the Apes box office was apparently just enough for it to break even in theaters. This is without considering other financial aspects such as a home release sales. Still, given that Kingdom continued a franchise decline trend that started with War, grossing less than Dawn, Disney could have gotten cold feet about the franchise. The modern Planet of the Apes franchise has grossed over $1.6 billion at the worldwide box office from 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes to 2024's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Ever since Disney bought 20th Century Fox, the studio has revived quite a few major IPs under the 20th Century banner. This includes Predator, which returned with a well-received film released straight to Hulu in 2022, Prey. Disney has also brought back Alien with a theatrical release, 2024's Alien Romulus, whereas Prey and Romulus were very much standalone films with some connections to their respective franchises. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes felt like a direct continuation of the previous three films, albeit with a significant time jump in new characters. Per the Hollywood Reporter, Disney treated Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes somewhat of a test for the franchise, whose previous film, War for the Planet of the Apes, had come out 2 years before the 20th Century Fox acquisition. It was unclear what Disney plans for the Fox franchises were, but the announcements that the next Planet of the Apes movies film wasn't going to be a reboot, but rather a sequel to the Andy Serkis-led trilogy was met with excitement. The THR estimates that Kingdom's performance was good enough for Disney to move forward with the trilogy. Disney likely was or is still striking deals with creatives and the talent, which would explain why an announcement hasn't happened, given that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was reportedly labeled as a test to see where the franchise could continue. The studio may not have wanted to get a sequel going too far in advance. With the theatrical run finished and home release numbers in, Disney now has a clearer picture of how Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes did, both critically and financially. Hopefully a sequel announcement won't take too long. Regardless of the financial aspect, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes ending, setting up a new trilogy that will hopefully move forward at Disney. Not only did Kingdom succeed at acknowledging the legacy of the previous 3 films, but it also moved the story forward. While Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes timeline is still relatively far away from that of the original Planet of the Apes, this new trilogy can take the saga in a very different direction for the relatively grounded Caesar trilogy. What do you think?
I mean, again, I did preface this saying I hadn't seen the last one, so I can't,
I have access to it. I should just sit down and watch it, but it's time. I
am pretty sure I'm going to be buying it, whether I'm going to like it or not, because you know how I am. I'm a completist, and I need it in my Planet of the Apes collection. But if I do like it, then yeah, I'll probably be that much more stoked for a coming trilogy. And right now, I don't have any reason to be terribly reticent. They've been doing pretty good so far.
Everything is either Disney or Paramount. I miss the good old days of Ryan Pictures, TriStar Pictures, and such.
I know. Yeah, that's been the biggest problem, is these bigger companies buying up the smaller ones, and that has not been good for anyone. We do really need more the shareholders really need to start caring about this stuff and looking a little bit beyond, my immediate profit, and start looking more at long-term profit. And I do think that the SEC really needs to start saying, this is getting a little antitrusty, They should have done that with Disney when they wanted to buy 20th Century Fox. But what are we going to do now?
Welcome, Darth Plato. I'm here to start the show again. It's not happening. I've had a week. Okay, I'm just going to put it to you that way. Take your stinky paws off me, you damn dirty ape. Ape's still a great scene, which was done really stupidly, I think, in the remake by Burton, where he says, "You damn dirty human," which just
yes.
Stupid.
They also turned Charlton Heston into an anti-gun guy, which, that was not smart either.
No, I didn't in that movie.
Yeah. Because he was the ape that said guns are evil, and this is how
Of course they did
evil,
that. Yes, of course they did that. I think that, I don't know. I tend to like Mark Wahlberg movies, but that was a bad one. That was just not good. And I might have forgiven it, but that ending. Yeah, Estelle Warren says, "Here, stay behind and rule the humans with me." It's like, no, got to get back to Earth. You're going to leave Estelle Warren and you're going to go back to Earth. Why?
Yeah.
For starters, any family you had are long dead because it was a time jump. So, you know, what are you heading back to at this point? And then
right. And well,
ending.
see, and this is where we're going to start getting into. They're going to have to decide how time travel works. In this incarnation of Planet of the Apes, because one could argue that the way they've redone this modern narrative, there is no backwards time travel. It's only forward time travel, which is absolutely possible in modern physics as we understand it.
They set something up in the first of the reboot series where there was a mission to Mars that got lost in space. So I'm assuming that would be where Taylor was, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And a lot of the fans are like all in on this, all ready for this. It makes perfect sense.
That was very smart. They did that. They did set up in the first movie about how that might come into play later on.
What could be interesting is if they get to the point where they're getting ready to tell that story.
Yeah.
They basically remake the original Planet of the Apes, but they literally tell it from the point of view of the apes.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Because we've been following the apes all this time now, right?
Yeah. Let's see. James Franco only did slightly better than Wahlberg in the Apes movies. I kind of like the Apes reboots. Maybe some people didn't. I mean, I love the originals. Don't get me wrong, but at least I felt like the Apes reboots weren't trying to copy exactly the originals. They were trying to they were kind of doing their own thing. I don't know. Time travel is nonsense. Well, the problem with time travel now is that it's overused.
Yeah, it's overused and it's used very badly. There is a skill to it, right? Look, it's like any other form of art, right? You can make beautiful artwork, but then there's people out there just slapping crap on a canvas and pretending like their crap doesn't stink. That doesn't make it good, you know?
Okay. I haven't seen this one yet. I know Wolf 10, I think, liked it. He mentioned it was good, I think, in one stream. I just haven't. I don't know. I got to I have to
So far
hunker
I've
down
seen
and watch
nothing
it.
about these new 8 movies that I found objectionable. So
Yeah.
I'm kind
Okay.
of enjoying them. I'll stick with it.
Okay. So I'll give it a look when I get a chance. Did honor Bull's original vision for the franchise. Oh, that's interesting. Here we go. Robocop TV series at Amazon sets Peter Aku as showrunners, James Wan to produce. Okay. It's funny because I thought at the time this would have been a good old days too. Would be RoboCop, but maybe another week.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe when we get closer to the actual
big
release
fan
of
of the original RoboCop movie.
Yeah.
I liked RoboCop 2 as well. Disappointed by part 3, though there were still things in it I liked, but it was not.
The series was not great, although the prime directives were pretty good.
Yeah. The Robocop TV series in development at Amazon is starting to take shape. Variety has learned that Peter Oko has boarded the project to serve as writer, executive producer, and showrunner, in addition to James Wan is set to executive produce under his Atomic Monster banner. The official log line for the series states, a giant tech conglomerate collaborates with local police department to introduce a technologically advanced enforcer to combat rising crime, a police officer who's part man, part machine. Well, that sounds like the movie. Along with Akko and Juan, Michael Clear and Rob Hackett of Atomic Monster will also executive produce. Daniel Bazzoni is overseeing the project for Atomic Monster. The series is produced at Amazon MGM Studios. The Robocop series has been in early development stages since Amazon acquired MGM. With Amazon looking to capitalize on the recent access to MGM's deep IP library for both film and television projects, Amazon is also currently prepping a Legally Blonde prequel series. With MGM
prequel series, what is there to tell before the events of Legally Blonde? That makes no sense.
Hey, quiet you. There's money. Anyway, with MGM having produced
there might not be.
Ooh, while a Poltergeist project recently said its showrunners, I could see Poltergeist as a TV series, given the right hand.
If it was like an anthology kind of thing, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, dealing with ghosts.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, sure.
Or even something where it deals with different characters and mixed timelines, converge everything. That might be interesting. We'll see. I don't know about a RoboCop TV series. Big fan of the original movie. You know what I thought was interesting? You know what one of the plot lines for a RoboCop sequel was? RoboCop is like fighting some criminals in the streets. I guess he gets shot or gets blown up, and he basically just gets put on ice at OCP, right? Okay, he's dead. He's our property, though. We'll put him in a storeroom somewhere. And then, like a couple hundred years later, some like descendant of the guy that owns OCP or whatever decides to take him out of storage and repairs him and brings him back to life. And it's like in the future, though, probably when Delta City is already up and running and stuff. You know?
Wow.
Wouldn't that be? That's an interesting idea, don't you think?
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
And that I could see that working for a RoboCop if it was like, because they always talked about Delta Cities coming, right?
Yeah.
Which you always had some trepidation about because it probably would be a dystopian style city, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But wouldn't it be interesting if RoboCop woke up one day and ends up in that future, right? You know, Murphy. But yeah.
Right.
If you think about it, Judge Dredd equals RoboCop. I mean, there's some similar vein. I love them both. It's Amazon's RoboCop is going to be a black transgender known binary.
Oh gosh,
defying the police side. Amazon's hit and miss. Like we both enjoyed Outer Range, which they canceled. Thank you, Amazon.
Yeah.
There's no reason this can't be a good show. James Wan, I'll say this: he's a competent director. I'm still a fan of his Malignant. I don't care what people said. I enjoyed that movie immensely. I think Big Al was not a fan of Malignant. I love Malignant. I don't want to give spoilers in case you ever decide to watch it, but the monster in that movie could be a Justice League villain. That's how I saw him.
Yeah.
He could be. I mean, I loved it. And the funny thing was, it said it was his attempt at doing a giallo, and I didn't see that at all. I thought it was James Wan's attempt to do a modern day version of some 1950s William Castle style movie like The Tingler. That's what it felt like.
Oh,
when I was watching it. It felt like that, but done a little more serious, but still ridiculous in other places. I loved it. I had a good time. Do you see James Wan's Swamp Claim? They canceled after one season. That was a good show. Oh, we did a Swamp Thing. Was it a Swamp Thing series? Malignant was so batshit that I couldn't help but like it. I enjoyed that movie a lot. Especially seeing the police station at the end. Because usually horror movies don't go that ridiculous, and they just did. But I don't know. I enjoyed *Malignant*. I thought it was decent. And that wraps up Geeky Geezers. Holy cow! With 9 minutes to spare, but that's okay. We'll shoot
not bad.
We'll shoot the shit for 9 more minutes. People, are you excited for Robocop series though?
I don't know if I'd go as far as to say excited, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested.
Robocop, crime is futile. Well, the funny thing was, in that first movie, he's sort of saying like these canned responses, right?
Yeah.
Like he
you get the impression that he starts out like as a clean slate, but then his human memories are starting to come back.
Murphy is still in there. That's the point. They tried to take a man and turn him into the machine, but the man is still there. I really liked Murphy as a character. You feel horrible when he dies. Remember that? That's a horrifying scene. And what is he? It's all the cops are on strike because they're pissed because their OCP is basically trying to, ruin the career or whatever, ruin their job, so they're quitting or they're on strike. But of course, that makes this crime in the city even worse for the cops that are still trying to do their job. And it was man, but give it a chance. It better be good. I didn't bother seeing the remake they did years ago.
That was
Michael
terrible.
Keaton as the OCP
I saw
head.
parts of it and it was terrible.
No
interest.
I like Michael Keaton, but no.
Yeah.
So I guess it's it could be good. It doesn't have to be bad. My problem with TV shows too is I've noticed this over the years that they can start out really well and then drop off in subsequent seasons. This happens a lot.
True.
That's why I always talk up Fringe, which stayed consistently good. I think that's why you're doing a Blake 7 stream now too.
Yeah,
that one stayed consistently good, right? I assume.
Absolutely.
I mean, there were some bad episodes, but overall,
Yeah, I think it had a great vision. I think it's got a lot of great things to tell us about the establishment and totalitarianism.
Yes.
I think it's very poignant for the modern day.
Yes. Basically, Mark Malakoff, they did defund the police in that one. It was corporate America defunding the police for their own purposes, which maybe isn't so far off from where we are. I don't know.
Right.
Police strike will destroy a city. Look at Montreal in '69. That was the point. That was what the chief was saying. I don't want anyone to talk about strike. We're not plumbers. We're police officers, because of course it would destroy. And you see at the end of RoboCop, in the beginning of RoboCop 2, the effect, the full-on strike happens. Everything's going nuts.
Yep.
Murray Hill riots. Yeah, it's horrible. Where was Murray Hill? That rings a bell to me. We discussed it. I mean, my own father, he had been on riot duty when he was a police officer in the early 70s. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. This is before he became a captain. That was I don't talk much about my dad. He was a police officer. That's what he did for a living. We discussed it, Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica. Okay. That's it.
Cool,
those are good series. I like those series. And I'm very intrigued by Blake 7. Well, you can check it out with Troy on Tuesday evenings if you're so interested, after our Sparkwood and 21 stream.
Yep.
Sad. That's I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna miss Twin Peaks. We're not out of the woods yet, though. We still got a few more.
Oh, we've got a long way to go. Even after the series ends, we've still got a lot of material to cover,
to dive through
in relation to that. So.
But yeah. I don't know, though. Entertainment. Here's the thing with gaming. we look at gaming, we're saying the gaming industry is collapsing. It's the Western gaming industry collapsing. It's some of the AAA companies, but there's still good stuff coming out from Asia. There's still, and I have to give points. Night Dive, which I believe is an American studio, they do fantastic work with these remasters. They're just taking these old first-person shooters and even the occasional adventure game and giving them a new coat of paint. They're really cleaning them up.
Yeah.
They remade System Shock. I don't know if you know the game System Shock.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've played
They did a full-on remake of that. That wasn't just a remaster. They did a full-on remake of it this year. So they're doing great stuff. Nintendo does good stuff. It's just that it's on the Switch, and the Switch needs to be replaced by a more powerful Switch because apparently it's having trouble running the current games coming out for it. Nintendo, it's time to move on. Announce the Switch successor already. And then there's Sony and Microsoft that have their own problems. Xbox, I should say. PlayStation and Xbox. I keep saying Sony and Microsoft. But after Twin Peaks is gone, whatever we'll watch after that, that will be great because we'll be watching it together. Thank you, Geek Flag with Nate knows. It'll be a good series. We're not sure we're picking yet. We have some titles floating around, but I'm sure there's still Lynch and stuff to go after too. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just been I feel like entertainment right now too. I think now we're dealing. First, it was the after effects of the pandemic. Now it's the after effects of the strikes, where things are kind of slow. Like Tulsa King finally came back.
Yeah,
I love the commercial for Tulsa King. I just saw a clip from it, and he goes. The one guy asked Stallone, well, "What do you think of windmill energy or windmills?" And he goes, "They blow." That's a double meaning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Nintendo Super Switch fiscal quarter of 2025. Yes, that's what they've said. It would make sense because I believe that's when the original Switch came out. They used to do holiday releases. Now Nintendo tends to do things now at the beginning of a first quarter instead of, maybe that's the why get all, you know what it is, you get all the diehards that buy things on day one to buy it earlier in the year, and then you wait for the fall to get the holiday sales from families, right?
Yep.
Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I know they have a new Metroid Prime game in the works. They've shown pictures. I suspect it's going to be a cross console release for Switch and whatever the successor will be. So we'll see. In the meantime, I guess I have old Tetris games to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do we got going on this week? After midnight, we have the other side of midnight,
yep.
right?
If you are watching on my channel right now, you will be auto-dramatically forwarded on to the other side of midnight on Deleted Scenes channel. Otherwise, I can go ahead and drop the link. Well, I got to get you the link. Hold on a second. Anyway, so that's tonight. Other side of midnight over on Deleted Scenes channel. Then tomorrow night, I know Deleted Scenes got a bunch of things going on, but here, let me copy the I can't talk and chew gum
well,
at the
I'll
same
talk.
time. So here,
I did. Of course, we had a hurricane scare, so I was doing my shelter work this week, and I don't think the old bones can do the sleeping bag anymore.
Ouch. Yeah,
2 nights on a sleeping bag. Actually, 2 days because I was working the night shift. But here we go.
That's so other side of midnight tonight. Yes. In about an hour. And tomorrow night, last call Monday night at the movies. Because Netter was doing Eight-Legged Freaks last Saturday, I'm keeping the Arachnophobia going with Arachnophobia and Kingdom of the Spiders. That starts at 8 Central, 9 Eastern tomorrow night.
I like the sheriff in Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, right?
Yes. And Scarlett Johansson's her daughter, too, and that's interesting. You get to see some guy get tased in the nuts, right?
Well, and that's funny. What's she mad at him for? It's not just that he's trying to take advantage of her and being a jerk, but you made my mom right. That's embarrassing, you know?
And yeah, it was just, that's a funny. You're a good man, Boomer. I don't care what Troy says. What do you
Yeah.
say? Oh, they'll be fighting this Friday. We're going to get there, okay? About whose zombie movies are better. It's going to happen. Go ahead.
I don't know if I'm going to get into their.
You're not going to. I have nothing against your zombie. I would figure. I'm amazed you pick nothing from the 70s. You being all about the 70s culture.
I was afraid to like overstep on yours.
And you can overstep. I know. I've watched a ton of zombie movies. I can pick.
We also had a limitation on Romero films we could do, and I'm like,
you could do one.
Well, how do you choose one? That's like choosing one of your children. I mean, how do you choose?
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
See, so I went with a genre, and I think it's going to be.
You're trying to go with the more unsung ones. I think that's what you're doing.
I did. Yes. Ones that I think that the audience, might actually really appreciate, especially if they had never heard of them. I think I've got some that you guys might not have heard of that I'm going to recommend and say check them out. They're kind of good.
Yeah, more spiders. Like an old married couple.
That we're the Geeky Geezers, so you kind of got to expect that.
Spiders this Monday, and then zombies this Friday.
Absolutely, of course.
The Return of the Living Dead. That's a classic.
Like you said, Twin Peaks and Blake 7 in the middle there. Netters Network on Thursday. We will be sitting down with I'm forgetting.
Darkwood Presents.
What? Darkwood Presents. Right. Check out that channel and find out what it's all about. Make sure you guys are all subscribed and everything. Take care, Matanui.
Good night, Matanui.
You're out of here. And that brings us around to Saturday with Big Al and his he's going to be doing a watch party of The Birds. Alfred Hitchcock. First time he's seen it. So we're going to get his live reaction to it. Yeah.
How do you miss The Birds?
Because there's only so much time, and it's been on his list, and now he's taking the opportunity.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Don't give him any grief. He's getting around to it.
I'm just saying. Okay.
It is a surprise, but it's happening now. So there.
Have I seen Rope? I guess I haven't seen Hitchcock's Rope. I missed that one. And Marnie, I don't think I've seen Marnie. I saw the ending of Marnie. That was the one with Sean Connery, right?
I don't remember.
Probably wearing a piece in that because you said he wore a piece, which freaked me out. The birds, Flappy Strikes Back. Exactly.
The bird is the word.
That was it. Yes, he used to sing that at karaoke. If you're not subbed to Netters, what the.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that, buddy.
Cool. I've seen no Hitchcock, I believe. Well, that's interesting.
Really? You've never even seen like Psycho?
Psycho's a good one around Halloween time. I recommend it.
I mean, Psycho, predates, Halloween, Friday the 13th, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's argued who did it first. Was it Psycho or Peeping Tom, which was a British movie? Around the
doesn't
same
matter.
year.
I don't remember that one, so Psycho. Psycho's the only one that counts.
Well, there you go. There's your double feature: Psycho and Peeping Tom, or you could do Psycho and Psycho 2.
Yeah. Interestingly,
which
Psycho,
I think is an underrated movie.
Psycho, and let me think. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
And was there one other based on
Ed Gein?
Ed Gein, exactly.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think that was the other one. I'm just kidding.
Get out.
I'm kidding. Anyway, there's a movie I haven't seen which I need to watch. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I've seen it. It's dumb, but it's fun.
I want to watch it. I like dumb. Dumb is fun.
Dumb, yeah.
Okay. Is it a zombie movie? Are they zombie clowns? Or is it an alien thing?
They're alien clowns. Okay, they're weird. They're weird.
Like Night of the Creeps. Is that a zombie movie? Because it's alien slugs bringing the dead back to life. Does that count?
Yeah, kind of. Why not? I mean, if you're reanimating corpses, it doesn't matter if it was a toxic waste or a virus or the tail of a comet or space slugs, I guess.
Night of the Creeps is not on the list this Friday. Sorry. It's a good one.
And John Doe Dougalo is saying that that Psycho is on his Halloween watch list. For
Good.
This year. So good.
You can thank us later. It's a good one. All right, but I think that wraps it up for this week. Do tune into the other side of midnight. And yeah, okay. Stay safe out there. Hopefully, keep an eye out on the Gulf. Hopefully, nothing else. I feel awful for the victims of Hurricane Helene. Did you know? I saw a Fox News report. Apparently, someone had a Tesla parked in their garage, and the salt water combined with the Tesla's style engine started a big fire and destroyed the entire house. Isn't that interesting?
God. Oh God!
So you have to watch out when you have your electric cars. Get them outside during storms, I guess.
Well, here's the other problem: these lithium batteries.
Yep.
As the name implies, they have lithium in them. Take a look and see what happens when you mix lithium with water. Don't do it yourself. Look it up online.
Okay. All right. We have enough clowns on this planet already. We don't need any more from outer
space. That's a good point.
I agree with you.
That's an excellent point. Most of them are in Washington, D.C.
Oh, yes, they are. All right, y'all. You have a good night. I'll catch you next time. And Troy will catch you next time. And we'll catch you Tuesday. There you go. And Troy might catch you after midnight. We'll see. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.